Hi, everybody. It's Erin here. I'm so excited to talk to you tonight. If we've never met before, my name is Erin Porter. I'm a family autism coach, and I'm here tonight to talk to you about visuals. Now, last week I did a live about visuals, and I got tons of response from people who reached out to say, my kid doesn't like visuals. Don't work. It makes them angry or they ignore them. We can't use visuals, they don't work. I'm so excited to talk to you tonight because I want to help you with that because visuals work. I'm going to show you how. I have a couple of nuggets that I want you to take away from tonight. Um, and one is that if the visuals aren't working for you, you've just got a little detective work to do so that you can figure out what it is that they need and which visuals are the ones that are going to work. Your child's behavior is like a clue to what they need. The second nugget is that you might just be using the wrong type of visual. So don't throw away the strategy. Don't give up. You just need a little help and you need to dig a little deeper um, and do some detective work. So I'm going to show you tonight what that can look like. I want to focus tonight on just talking about the visual schedule or the PECS, the picture exchange system. So we're talking tonight about the little pictures that you would use to show your child what's next or what you want them to do. Um, that's the focus for tonight because that is what people were talking about when they reached out to say that visuals don't work. So I want to know from you what is like the behavior that you're seeing if you try and use visuals. So are they just disinterested, like nothing? Do they ignore it? Do they swat it away? Do they get aggressive? What does that look like for you? You can post it in the bottom down there um, to let me know because there's all different kinds of reactions to visuals. I want to talk about a way that you can find the right visuals. So it's super important to get the visual right, or your child's going to balk. Um, they may just not even be interested at all. Um, this is where, if we were working together, a number of different things on your roadmap would collide because it's never actually just about using visuals. There's actually a lot going on. There's a lot going on with the actual visual, the communication, the processing, and the behaviors that's attached to it. So there's a lot of digging to figure out what's going on. Now, I covered this in the other one too, but I just want to back up a little bit because if visuals are not working for you, then we need to just back up. So we know that many children with autism are visual learners. And this might be because the information lasts longer, like a picture. It's there as long as you leave it there. Your verbal instructions are gone as soon as you say them. A picture's more concrete than a verbal instruction. Um, your instructions are part of the process and an important one, but they're gone after you say them, unless you're repeating them over and over, and nobody wants to do that, right? Um, you can help your child by presenting information visually. And children with autism can process information differently, which means parents of children with autism need to communicate information differently. And kudos to you for trying visuals. You can get this. We just need to refine it. Because what you need is the right visual. If you get it wrong, then there's disinterest, there's problem behaviors, there's noncompliance, there's anxiety, even for both of you. Some of the people that reached out to me were so stressed out because the visuals are not working. They're supposed to provide predictability, which reduces anxiety and reduces uncertainty for your children and allows them to grasp what's happening, what's coming next. It's supposed to make things go more smoothly. If you've got the wrong visuals, then none of that is going to happen. Instead of reducing anxiety, now you have more anxiety. Instead of communicating that something that's happening, now there's problem behaviors before the something is about to happen. And instead of understanding, there's confusion for both of you. None of that is ideal. So I want to talk to you just about the type of visual that you're using. Now, visuals are a form of reading. You look at them, you process what they mean, and then you take action. Or you understand, or you comprehend. Reading is visual. So I want you to think for a moment about what kind of books your child likes or where they're at with their reading. Do they read and understand print? Do they like fiction or nonfiction? What kind of books do they like? And I'm asking this because these answers will provide clues to where your child is at with understanding, which will provide clues to the type of visual you need to use. So let's talk dinosaurs for an example. If your child was into dinosaurs, or imagine whatever it is they're into, would they like fiction or nonfiction? Pictures or photos? Stories or facts? You can write your child's preference in the comments if you want, and you can even write whatever the interest would be, and we can swap to a different interest. But fiction is a story that usually has pictures, usually drawings. Sometimes there's no words in fiction books. There can be stories for young children with no words, and you make inferences from the pictures. Nonfiction is information with photos. This is often a favorite of children with autism. Why? Because there's not a lot of inference with a photo. And if there's no story, then there's not a lot of inferring about what's going to happen. It's really concrete. It's facts. And the pictures are real. And maybe they're not enjoying books yet. Maybe not at all. Maybe your child prefers the actual physical model of something like a dinosaur that they can hold. That's a visual too. It's something that represents the actual thing, but they get to hold it, and it's like 3D. So when you choose the type of visual to use for your child, you have to meet them where they're at and understand how they are understanding information. When you get it right, there's a lot of understanding and a lot of joy too. There's a lot to think about when you're putting together. I want to show you this. Understanding visuals. This is a chart of how how your child would move through understanding something that's represented visually. So, the very first thing that's easiest to understand is the actual thing, the actual real object. Think of like an infant. Um, if you held up a picture of you to an infant, you would get a very different reaction than if you actually put your actual real face into their sight line. So, the actual real object is the easiest thing for, for children to understand. The next thing is a photo of that object. I don't know if you can see this here, but I'm using bubbles as an example. So that's the bubble wand. There's the actual bubbles right there. So a photo of the actual bubbles would be the next thing to understand. But that really requires an understanding that a 3D shape, like the bubbles in the bubble wand, can be represented in a photo in a 2D shape. That's big. That's a big shift from the actual thing to photos. So if you show your child a photo and they're not ready for it, they're going to ignore it or balk at it or not be interested. So you need to make your visual schedule out of the real things. That's super fun to do, by the way. Super fun. So after the photo of the actual thing comes drawings, pictures of the actual things. Now, this is where you find stuff online, like for the PECs and for visual schedules. There's tons and tons and tons of stuff online. You can get them from clip art, Google Images, Boardmaker, all that stuff. But it requires an understanding that this drawing represents something. So let's go back to the dinosaur. If if your child needs to hold a model of a dinosaur to understand, and you're showing them a drawing and they don't have any understanding that that drawing represents a dinosaur, you are not going to get understanding when you show them a visual like that. And then, of course, the very last thing is the word. So that's super abstract and visual. Your child needs to be reading and have some kind of abstract thinking. Sometimes we like to put the words on the pictures of things, like as a transition to the next sort of stage. If your child's right here and they are starting to understand words, then you can add the words and then fade the pictures. But if you're here, if you're showing your child pictures of things, representations of things, and your child's understanding is here, then this won't work. I love this story. I was supporting this one family whose child is here. Photos of things. And there was not a lot of communication and not a lot of understanding. So I did an assessment first to figure out exactly where they were and what they needed. And then we built some visuals together and very slowly started to introduce them in a super positive and fun way. But when the mom was introducing the visuals, she was showing the pictures and saying what they were, and the child was interested. He was looking at the photos and he understood what they were. But she saved the picture of herself for last. And she pulled out the picture of herself and she showed it to him. And she said, "Mama." And he took the picture and kissed it. And we knew that we had nailed it with where he was at. We found the right visual for him to understand. So just because your child is older doesn't necessarily mean that they're ready for drawings and pictures of things. And if you're introducing visuals, you want to make it really super fun, easy to understand, easy to work with. So maybe back up a little and start with something that to you might seem simpler, but to your child might be perfect. If you would like a copy of this, you can just type visuals in the comments below, and I'll just send you this PDF. And if you have questions, just type them below. I want to help you get these visuals right on track. There's other reasons why they may not be responding to visuals, but this is a big one. We have to nail it with the right visual at the right time. Good luck and reach out. Bye.